This is how athletes can unlock their full confidence with these 3 mental shifts. I remember when I was a kid and I used to play sports my whole life, and I struggled with all of these mental problems in tournament settings, in matches, which would cause me to play nervous, not play to my full performance. And for a lot of years, that used to be my biggest barrier into improving to the next level. And it would piss me off a lot because I didn't know what was wrong with my game until I sat with a coach and I started doing research about it. And finally it dawned on me where it was, oh, it's up here. So the mental side of the game is one of the most, and if not the most important aspect if you're gonna play at a top level. And athletes, the real difference that makes up at the top level is just the way they see the game and how they control their mindset. So in this video, you'll learn the top 3 mistakes that I did and how you can have these athlete mindset shifts for you to see the game in a different light, and hopefully you can start winning more matches like I did because of it. Okay, so the first one is not playing to win. And now this one, when I got told this one, I was also like, what do you mean I always play to win? Isn't that kind of the point? You play to win? And yes, but what I mean with this is that playing to win, people get confused with playing not to lose. And a lot of people fall into the category of, in a tournament setting, playing not to lose. And this basically means being scared of the consequences of what your teammates will think, of what the audience will think, instead of playing at your full potential, your full confidence, going for shots that you would do in practice just because you know that there's a possibility that you can make it. So you start playing very safe, very cautious, and this just kind of snowballs into you not being able to play it right. So next time you guys hop on the court, I really want you guys to just play to win. And with this is, even if you don't make the shot, even if it's a fail, you went for it and you know. And the more you do this, the more you go for these shots in any sport that you're in, the more confidence you'll build up in tournament settings. Because it actually works backwards, that if you go for the safe shot, if you play very just not fresh in a way, you'll see that you're gonna end up making more mistakes because you're playing tense, which is gonna snowball into you making more mistakes and you thinking more about the audience, blah, 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 blah. So next time you guys have a match, just focus on, okay, I'm here to win, block out the noise, and play how you would normally. The second one is focusing on people instead of the space. So in a game, and you could use any sport for this examples, football, basketball, tennis, a lot of the time we look at what our opponent is doing and what our teammate is doing. And while that of course is very important, what I found that leveled up my game when I got told this and when I implemented this into my game is focusing on where the opponents weren't at and getting past them, to dribble past them, to see the gap open, because that's where you want to play the ball, where the opponents are. And in a weird way, the less you start seeing people and the more you start seeing open spaces on the other side of the court or anywhere ahead of you, your mind focuses more on, okay, how do I get there, instead of how do I get around this person, in a way. So once I implemented that in my game as well, I saw that I just played way better tactically and just made way better decisions on the court. So I suggest you guys focus a game or two next time you're on the court, focusing on the space you need to get to instead of the opponents and the people you have to get past. And last and not least, focus on the outcome instead of the technique. A lot of the times when I used to play, and now I coach players the same, in tournament matches, they think a lot about how their forehand should be, how their hand positioning should be, or anything internal. So any technique that is off, they start overthinking it, which then leads to them keep missing that shot. And it's very hard for in that when you're in a tournament setting to focus on something that you're not doing the best technique wise and fix upon that. And that also puts a lot of pressure on you because you start overthinking it as well. So what I found that tends to work is that focusing on the outcome. So let's say you need to hit the ball a bit higher, just focus on just hitting the ball higher, or just swinging the racket lower. Anything that does not have to do with technique, but more outcome of where the ball is gonna go or whatever, takes the focus off of you and more into the outside game, which is what we want to do, because then we start getting less in our own heads and start playing more fresh on the court. And this isn't to say to not focus on technique, but focus on the technique training in practice matches. And then when you're in tournament, it's better not to think too much about it and just focus on the outcome of your shots and what you need to do externally to improve upon it. All right, guys. So those were my 3 tips on the mental shifts you need to make in your game to improve and unlock your full confidence. And if you guys want to learn more about this subject, I'll have a link down below, and you can see how we help athletes unlock their full confidence by drills, exercises. So I'll link that down right below, and comment if you guys implemented one of these things and tell me how it went. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.